and welcome to On the Food Scene with Steve. I'm here with Chef Charlie, who's the executive chef at the beautiful Cheeca Lodge and Spa in Islamorada, Florida. And we're going to be making something delicious here that's on your menu that you want to highlight, so go for it.
All right, what we got here is our locally caught mahi-mahi that we're going to sear up with some fennel, a lot of fresh herbs, white wine, butter, very traditional fish dish, and top it up with some local flavors. So, start off here. You want a very hot pan to sear the mahi-mahi in.
Now, that's a popular fish down here in the Keys.
Yes, anytime you ask for a seasonal fish, 9 times out of 10, you're either getting grouper, snapper, or mahi-mahi. Mahi-mahi is very versatile, so I like it. Nice hot pan, a little olive oil. And it really takes on any flavor you put with it. It's kind of like the tofu of fish. It's not too fishy, it's not overbearing. It's not light and flaky, but it's not too tough either. So it's pretty that in between, nice Southern Florida staple of the fish.
Now, the preparation can be done with other fish if people don't have access to mahi-mahi up north.
This could absolutely be done with any kind of trout up north, a striped bass.
And speaking of ingredients, we have a whole slew of them over here. What do we have?
You have the garlic and shallot, always a staple when you're cooking seafood. You begin with that. Herbs, also always something that goes into all of our seafood dishes here. And then over here we have, my philosophy is a fish should swim 3 times before you eat it, and that's once in water, once in wine, once in butter. So that's my philosophy on that. So you always,
that's a good one.
Yeah. And so you have your white wine here. I have a little bit of a saffron infused fumet and the butter to finish. This is going to be a mahi dish that's going to be served with little neck clams. Also a big dish up north as well. There's clams and a kind of steamer neck that you can also utilize for this dish. Substitute the fish for like a nice trout or striped bass, and you're good to go. We're just looking for a nice crisp on this. Trying to heat up a little bit. Get that rolling. And I'm a big fan of, it looks like a lot of ingredients, but you're only going to be using 1 pan for this entire dish. Wow. So the end result is something that looks very elegant, very hard to do, but it's all going to be cooked in this 1 pan. For a restaurant steak, it works with the forks in the back, everything, when everything's crowded, it works out. It's more about the timing.
And I like your philosophy that less is more when cooking.
Yeah, and then putting the ingredients at the proper time, and everything should work out perfectly. So once that's about 40% cooked, we're going to let it go for another minute on that side. We're going to start adding the rest of the ingredients and get those things.
And what is this over here?
This is just a little fennel radish salad, cilantro. That's going to go right on top at the end. We have fennel pollen. That's going to be dusted on top of the mahi, so that's going to accent it very well. And a little bit of mojito lime seasoning to bring out the clams and the flavor of the white wine.
So that is a secret mixture of spices in there?
Secret blend, yeah. Dehydrated limes, garlic salt, something the Coleman couldn't replicate. So that's actually going to go right on top here. A little bit of the fennel pollen. And once that fennel pollen hits the pan, you can smell it and it'll start to toast.
Now, is that available in mainstream supermarkets?
It should be. Yeah, anywhere you get it's in a bag. It's not going to come in a little plastic container. It'll be in a bag, like with it's not exotic, but the Latin dried herbs and all that. That's where you find that. All right, and then we're going to add a little bit more oil. You can smell that fennel start to toast. Then we're going to add our clams. Clams take a lot longer to cook than any other ingredient over here. So we're going to let those toast on a little bit of that oil.
So those will pop open?
They will pop open once you start adding the rest of the ingredients, the liquid ingredients. So right now we're going to get them going. You don't want to add them, you don't want to let them just submerge. You want to slowly add the white wine, slowly add the butter, let it cook, add those flavors in there. So next, we'll do the salad. So essentially what we're doing here is we're going to build the sauce. So all this is going to cook in the sauce.
Now, the order that you put those ingredients in, is that important?
I believe I think it's very important. You really want to sweat the garlic, you want to sweat the shallots to bring out the natural flavors of them. You don't want to put it in there raw, you want it to cook a little bit. The white wine. That's the white wine. That's my fumet. Once that just starts to brown, it might pop a little bit.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
And what is that again?
This is just the Chardonnay. You can use any white wine. You can use a Chablis. You can use Chardonnay. You know, it's your own taste on that. So that's going to be the base to the sauce. Once that white wine cooks down off sec, or essentially almost dry, you're going to start adding the fumé, which is going to be the body of the sauce. It's just a fish broth. You can get that at any superstore or supermarket as well. So fish broth, clam juice, anything like
clam
that.
juice instead. So you'll give us the substitute, so the home cook won't go
Exactly,
crazy.
yeah.
I'll never be able to find that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. A little bit of fumé in there, or your clam juice. I'm going to turn that right up. So again, we're going to cook that down about 60% just to get that flavors all married together right there. You see the clams are going to start to open. The timing's pretty much on point. That mahi is about 70-75% of the way there. So once we start finishing the sauce, it's going to cook 100%.
And is this the rice that's going to go along
Yeah, this
with
is
that?
just the rice. This is your choice of rice. Right here we have a coconut cilantro rice, which is also featured in our restaurant, so it's easier. But any kind of basmati, jasmine, white rice, any long grain rice that you prefer, you can use with fish.
If somebody wants to do it chef style, they would just put that into like
A little ring mold, yeah, or even if you have a little coffee cup and stuff it in there, put it inside, yeah.
rather than just dumping the rice out.
Instead of just, yeah.
See the tricks of the trade.
Alright, so that's cooked pretty well then. We're going to turn the heat down a little bit, because this is where we're going to start to mount it with butter. That's going to add a lot of body to the sauce, a lot of that buttery texture that you really come to expect from making seafood.
And that's unsalted butter.
Unsalted, yes. You can use salted, just watch the seasonings. Obviously in a kitchen setting, everything gets salted and seasoned, so I use only unsalted butter. And you want to keep movement in the pan, so the white wine and the fumé and the butter doesn't separate, because the fat content and the milk fat in the acid with the white wine and the fumé sauce, it will start to separate if you don't agitate it.
Another thing. Wow, that's true.
If anybody's ever made a butter sauce, you always mount it cold at the end to come. You can't add hot butter to a hot sauce. It doesn't actually.
So you always liked to cook ever since you were a kid?
Yes, I always loved to cook. I honestly, my first vacation when I was 17 years old, coming back to the Mount Washington Resort, I walked back into work after being out for 2 weeks, and I heard the pans and the pots and the fire and the dishes being put away, and it was just, I was home. And from that point on, I honestly, thinking about it, I don't know what else I could offer this world other than just great food, yeah.
And it is great food, that is for sure.
Right.
I've been here tasting the food, breakfast, dinner, tomorrow lunch.
Yeah. Awesome. So you see that sauce is starting to come together. It's got a little bit more body to it. It's got some thickness to it. When you hit the pan, it takes a little bit for it to come down. That's how
Oh, yeah.
it's about.
So these are just for garnish over here.
This is just going to be a finishing. Oops. A little roasted tomato, sun-dried tomato, roasted tomato, Divina tomato. You can pick those up in the grocery store if you're feeling like you want to have some fun. You can do them yourself. Just a little olive oil, salt, pepper in a low oven, and that's it. And that acidity also complements the fattiness of the butter sauce. And then just a little bit of herbs at the end. You always want to finish with herbs at the end as opposed to start, because obviously you don't want to burn them or scorch them, and it's just a beautiful color you get.
Now, is that a mixture of several herbs?
This is parsley, a little bit of cilantro. You can use chives, you can use whatever your flavor is. But I think this dish has enough flavors in it. You want to go a little bit milder. You don't want to add any hard herbs like a rosemary or a thyme. That's already in the broth and all that. So you don't need too much.
I see you have a couple of other plated items over here. I've been eyeing that sandwich down there. What is that?
That is our world famous, or at least Keys famous, lobster grilled cheese. That is a mixture of warm water and cold water lobster meat with some nice creamy brie cheese and a little bit of caper, lime, herb, aioli or mayonnaise based sauce.
And then we see something else over here.
That's on our dinner menu as well. That's our broiled octopus dish. That's a squid ink hummus, just some roasted young potatoes, a nice broiled and then crisped up lightly in the fryer octopus. That one's not so much readily available at the grocery store.
No.
But a treat nonetheless. Use those tomatoes and herbs. Garnish.
A work of art.
Thank you.
So you said this is on the dinner menu currently.
This is on the dinner menu. The fennel, called the fennel crusted mahi mahi. Alright. Little fresh salad there.
So while you're plating that up, Chef, the resort has 3 restaurants.
Yes, sir, that's correct. 3 restaurants. We have an Italian-influenced restaurant called Mia Cucina. We have a Japanese and sushi restaurant called Nakai, and then we have the Atlantic Edge restaurant, which specializes in fresh local seafood ingredients and some steaks as well for the steak lover. That's just a little bit of micro cilantro on top, and voila. There's your fennel-crusted mahi-mahi here at Atlantic Edge.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
For those folks that want more information about the Cheeca Lodge, what is the website?
The website is cheeca.com.
And it's CHEECA.
CHEECA.com, yeah. And the restaurant that this is featured in is Atlantic Edge Dinner Menu.
And people can come in from the outside as well
Absolutely.
to enjoy the
Open to the public as well as the guests that are enjoying the resort as well.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Chef.
It's my pleasure.
From Islamorada, Florida, I'm here at the Cheeca Lodge and Spa with Chef Charlie. Bon appetit.